Drumily.com, unlimited drama series.
Nothing says happy family like your wife and mother getting wine drunk on boxed Merlot before the cake is cut. I'm Tom Grady, 41 years old, IT project manager for a mid-sized insurance company, and I'm watching my life implode at my daughter's first birthday party. The living room of our Briarwood Lane house is packed with relatives, neighbors, and Elise's work friends. Pink balloons everywhere because apparently everything must be aggressively feminine when you have a daughter. Zoe sits in her high chair, more interested in the wrapping paper than the gifts, blissfully unaware that her parents' marriage is about to detonate like a glitter bomb. Elise looks stunning as always, auburn hair perfectly styled, wearing that blue dress that makes her eyes pop. At 38, she still turns heads at the grocery store. Sometimes I wonder what she ever saw in me. Today, I'm about to find out the answer is absolutely nothing. "Tommy, grab me another wine," my mother Evelyn shouts from across the room. She's 63 and has never learned the concept of indoor voice. "And tell that handsome trainer friend of Elise's to come chat with me." The handsome trainer friend is Brandon Holt. 6'2", muscles that probably have their own Instagram account, and a smile that screams, "I steal wives for a living." He's been hanging around our house a lot lately, supposedly helping Elise with her fitness goals. The only thing getting a workout is my patience. "Mom, maybe pace yourself on the wine," I suggest, knowing it's pointless. "Oh, please, it's a celebration, little Zoe's first birthday." She gestures wildly with her plastic cup. "Though I still think you two should have more kids. One child is so lonely." Elise laughs, a sound that used to make my heart skip. Now it just makes me nervous. "Well, Evelyn, we'll see what happens." I'm setting out more paper plates when I hear it. Elise is in the kitchen with her best friend Kelly, voices slightly raised over the party noise. They don't realize the baby monitor is still on, broadcasting their conversation to the receiver in my hand. "God, Kelly, sometimes I feel so trapped," Elise says. I freeze, plates halfway to the table. "What do you mean, hun?" Kelly asks. She's always been Elise's enabler, the friend who encourages every bad decision. "I mean, look at him. Tom's sweet, but he's not exactly exciting. Not like Dave was." Dave, her ex-husband who died in a motorcycle accident 3 years ago, before we got married. "But Zoe adores him," Kelly says. Elise laughs, but there's something cold in it. That's the funny part. Tom thinks he's her biological father, but I used Dave's stored sperm from the fertility clinic. I never told anyone except you. Zoe's really Dave's daughter, not Tom's. He's basically just an expensive babysitter who pays the mortgage. The paper plates slip from my hands, scattering across the hardwood floor. The sound seems impossibly loud, but nobody notices over the party chatter. My legs feel like water. "Jesus, Elise, wow. Does Tom have any idea?" "None, and it's staying that way. Dave was a real man, you know. Tom's just safe, boring, good for paying bills and changing diapers, but not much else." I stand there, staring at the baby monitor, as my entire world rearranges itself. Zoe isn't my daughter. My wife has been lying to me for over a year. I'm not a father. I'm a mark. The party continues around me. Brandon is doing bicep curls with Zoe, making her giggle. My mother is telling embarrassing stories about my childhood to anyone who'll listen. The neighbors are eating cake and making small talk about property values. And I'm standing in my own living room, holding a baby monitor, learning that my life is a complete fraud. "Tommy," Evelyn calls out. "Come take a picture of Zoe with her cake." I force a smile, slip the monitor into my pocket, and grab my phone. Through the camera lens, I watch my not-daughter smear frosting on her face, while my lying wife beams beside her. Brandon hovers nearby, probably thinking about how he'll console Elise when her pathetic husband inevitably disappoints her. Click. The perfect family photo. Too bad it's all bullshit. "Beautiful," my mother gushes. "You three look so happy together." "We are," Elise says, squeezing my shoulder. "Aren't we, honey?" "Absolutely," I manage. "Just living the dream." The party winds down around 8. I help clean up, playing the dutiful husband, while my brain runs through everything with new context. All those late nights Elise worked, the business trips with Kelly. The way she never seemed quite present during intimate moments, like she was thinking about someone else. Because she was. She was thinking about Dave. After everyone leaves, I sit in my home office, staring at my computer screen. Elise is upstairs giving Zoe a bath, singing lullabies to a child who shares none of my DNA. The birth certificate is in our filing cabinet, with my name in the father box. Legal documents built on lies. I open a new browser window and start researching paternity fraud. Turns out it's more common than you'd think, and the legal remedies are complicated. In our state, if you're married when the child is born, you're presumed to be the father regardless of biology. Fighting it means lawyers, court battles, and probably losing access to the only child I've ever loved, even if she isn't technically mine. But I can't unknow what I know. Can't pretend I didn't hear those words. Can't keep living in this house, paying for this life, being the fool who doesn't realize he's been played. I pull out a suitcase and start packing. Not much. Some clothes, my laptop, important documents. I take Zoe's favorite stuffed elephant, a ratty thing she's had since birth. If I'm never going to see her again, I want something to remember her by. On my way out, I stop by the filing cabinet. I pull out the birth certificate and take a pen from the desk. Carefully, methodically, I cross out my name in the father field. Then I write fraud in big letters across the top. I leave it on Elise's pillow. By midnight, I'm checked into a Motel 6 across town. My phone starts buzzing around 12:30. Text after text from Elise. Tom, where are you? This isn't funny. Come home. We need to talk about this. You can't just leave. Think about Zoe. I can explain everything. Tom, please, you're being ridiculous. Fine, ignore me, but you're still her father legally. You're abandoning your family over nothing. Tom, I'm scared. Please come home. 53 messages by morning. I read every one, but I don't respond. What's the point? She's right about one thing. I am abandoning my family. But they were never my family to begin with. I was just the guy paying the bills. The next morning, I call in sick to work and drive straight to Karp & Associates, the family law firm that handled our wills last year. Mr. Karp is a thin, methodical man who looks like he was born wearing a suit. Mr. Grady, this is quite a serious allegation, he says, reviewing my notes. Paternity fraud cases are complex, especially when you've been acting as the father for over a year. I've been acting as the father because I thought I was the father. There's a difference. Legally, perhaps not as much as you'd hope. You're listed on the birth certificate. You've been providing support. You've established a parental relationship. Courts are reluctant to disrupt that, even in cases of fraud. So I'm stuck? I just have to keep pretending? Karp adjusts his glasses. We can pursue DNA testing, seek to have your name removed from the birth certificate, and potentially recover damages for fraud. But understand, this will be expensive, public, and emotionally devastating for everyone involved, including the child. The child who isn't mine. The child who believes you're her father and has known no other parent. We'll sign the retainer agreement anyway. If I'm going down, I'm taking the truth with me. My phone rings as I'm leaving the lawyer's office. It's my mother. Thomas Michael Grady. What the hell is wrong with you? Good morning to you too, Mom. Don't you good morning me. Elise called me crying this morning. She said you walked out on your family over some misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? I almost laugh. Mom, did she tell you what the misunderstanding was? She said you overheard something out of context and flew off the handle. Honestly, Tommy, I raised you better than this. Men don't abandon their responsibilities. What if those responsibilities were based on lies? Marriage is hard work. You can't just run away every time things get difficult. I'm standing in the parking lot, watching normal people go about their normal days, while my mother lectures me about commitment to a woman who's been lying to me since day one. Mom, I need to ask you something. Did you know? Know what? About Zoe. About who her real father is. Long pause. Too long. Tommy, you're not making sense. You're Zoe's father. That's not what I asked. You need to come home and work this out with your wife like an adult. She hangs up. But that pause told me everything. My own mother... They're new. How long has everyone been laughing at me behind my back? I drive to Elise's office building downtown. She works for Morrison Public Relations, a mid-sized firm that handles local businesses and political campaigns. The receptionist, a young woman with purple hair, recognizes me. Oh, hi Mr. Grady. Are you here to surprise Elise? Something like that. Is she in? She called in sick today, actually. First time in months. Sick. Right. Probably hungover from wine and panic. I head home instead, but park down the street where I can see our driveway. Elise's white SUV is there, along with a red pickup truck I recognize as Brandon's. Of course. In her moment of crisis, she calls her trainer boyfriend, not her husband. I'm watching the house when my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Tom, this is Natalie Holt, Brandon's ex-wife. We need to talk. Interesting, I text back. About what? About what my ex-husband and your wife have been doing behind your back. Meet me at Starbucks on 5th Street in an hour. Natalie Holt turns out to be a sharp-eyed woman in her early 40s, with short blonde hair and the look of someone who's seen too much. She's already got a coffee when I arrive. You look like hell, she says by way of greeting. Thanks. You said you had information? Brandon and I divorced 6 months ago. Want to know why? She slides a manila folder across the table. He's been running a side business out of that gym, personal training for lonely housewives, if you know what I mean. I open the folder. Photos, text messages, credit card statements. Brandon with different women in hotel rooms, restaurants, the back seat of his truck. And there, in the middle of it all, pictures of him with Elise. How long? I ask. With your wife? About 8 months. But Tom, there's something else, something worse. She pulls out another photo. Brandon and Elise, but they're not alone. There's a third person in the shot. My mother. Your mom and Elise have been planning this for a while. I heard them talking at Brandon's gym. Something about making sure you never find out about the baby's real father, and how your mom would help keep you in line if you ever got suspicious. The coffee tastes like ash in my mouth. My own mother. I'm sorry. I know this is a lot. Why are you telling me this? Natalie's expression hardens. Because Brandon destroyed my life, and now he's destroying yours. And because men like him think they can do whatever they want without consequences. What do you want me to do about it? I want you to fight back. I want you to make them pay. I'm driving home with Natalie's folder on the passenger seat when I see the white SUV in my rearview mirror. Elise, following me. I make a few random turns to confirm, and she stays right behind me. At a red light, she gets out of her car and marches up to my driver's side window. Her face is red, her hair disheveled. This is not the composed woman from yesterday's party. Tom, we need to talk. Get back in your car, Elise. Not until you explain why you're acting like a crazy person. The light turns green. Cars behind us start honking. Move your car, I say. No, you can't just disappear and ignore my calls. I put the car in park and get out. We're standing in the middle of 5th Street, traffic backing up in both directions, having a domestic dispute for the whole city to see. You want to talk? Fine. Let's talk about Dave's sperm. Let's talk about how you've been lying to me for over a year. Let's talk about how my own mother helped you do it. Her face goes white. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. I understand that I'm not Zoe's father. I understand that you used me to play house while you figured out your next move. I understand that everyone in my life thinks I'm a fucking joke. Tom, please, just listen. No, you listen. I'm done. I'm done with the lies. I'm done with the games. And I'm done with you. I get back in my car. Elise runs around to block me, standing directly in front of my bumper, with her arms spread wide. You are not leaving me, she screams. You are not abandoning your daughter. She's not my daughter. She is legally. You signed the birth certificate. You can't just walk away. I put the car in reverse, but Elise runs to the back and stands behind me. We're causing a major traffic jam now. Someone's probably calling the cops. Elise, get out of the way. Make me. That's when I see Brandon's red pickup truck pull up. He gets out, all 6'2" of him, and strides over like he's going to save the day. Hey man, calm down, he says, approaching my window. Let's all just take a breath here. Brandon, right? The personal trainer? I get out of my car again. Tell me, what's your hourly rate for fucking other men's wives? His friendly expression disappears. Watch your mouth, buddy. Or what? You'll beat me up in the middle of the street? In front of all these witnesses? Tom, stop it, Elise pleads. This isn't helping anyone. You know what would help? The truth. Why don't you tell Brandon about Dave's sperm, Elise? I'm sure he'd love to know he's been playing second fiddle to a dead man. Brandon looks confused. What's he talking about? Nothing. He's having some kind of breakdown. But I can see the doubt in Brandon's eyes now. The same doubt I should have had months ago. Ask her. I tell him. Ask her who Zoe's real father is. And that's when Elise snaps. She runs at me, screaming, fists flying. I grab her wrists to stop her from clawing my face, and she's kicking at my shins, completely hysterical. You bastard! You can't do this to me. You can't ruin everything. Brandon pulls her off me, but she's still thrashing, still screaming. Cars are honking. People are getting out to watch the show. And I realize this is my life now. This chaos, this drama, this complete fucking disaster. I get back in my car and drive away, leaving them both standing in the street. In my rearview mirror, I see Elise collapse against Brandon's chest, sobbing. My phone starts ringing immediately.
2 key cards. You asked for 2. Who was the second for?
My colleague needed a place.
Your colleague who calls you baby in her texts?
Watch more on Grammarly.com.
Immediately. Elise, Brandon, my mother, even Kelly. I turn it off and drive to the nearest bar. Time to start planning my revenge. The Rusty Anchor is the kind of dive bar where day drinking doesn't make you an alcoholic. It makes you a regular. I'm on my 3rd whiskey when my friend Nate slides onto the bar stool next to me. Heard you caused quite a scene on 5th Street, he says, ordering a beer. YouTube videos got 12,000 views already. Great, I'm internet famous for having a public meltdown. Nate's been my friend since college, back when we both thought we'd change the world with our computer science degrees. Now he fixes servers for the city government and drinks too much, but he's the only person I trust completely. So what's the real story, he asks. I tell him everything. The birthday party revelation, the paternity fraud, my mother's betrayal, the street confrontation. Nate listens without judgment, occasionally shaking his head. Jesus, Tom, that's fucked up on so many levels. The worst part, I still love that little girl. Even knowing she's not mine, I can't just stop caring about her. She's been your daughter for a year. Biology doesn't erase that. Tell that to my lawyer, or my wife, or my mother, who apparently thinks I'm too weak to handle the truth. Nate takes a long pull from his beer. So what's the plan? Plan? Come on, man. I know you. You're not the type to just roll over and take this. You're going to fight back. He's right. I've always been the guy who fixes problems, who finds solutions. This is just another system that needs debugging. I want them to hurt, I admit. I want them to feel as humiliated and betrayed as I do right now. Then let's make that happen. We spend the next 2 hours planning. Nate knows people, reporters, bloggers, social media influencers. He also knows how to dig up information that people would rather keep buried. First things first, he says. We need to control the narrative. Right now, you look like the crazy husband who abandoned his family. We need to flip that script. How? Evidence. Documentation. We make them tell the truth, or we tell it for them. I show him Natalie's folder, and his eyes light up. This is perfect. Brandon's been running a prostitution ring disguised as personal training. We can destroy him. What about Elise? Leave that to me. I've got a friend at Morrison PR who owes me a favor. The next morning, I wake up in my motel room to 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. Apparently, Elise and Brandon have been busy. The messages are from coworkers, neighbors, even some of Elise's friends. They all say basically the same thing. They're concerned about my mental health and think I need professional help. According to the story making the rounds, I've been abusive, controlling, and possibly dangerous. My boss, Janet, calls while I'm getting dressed. Tom, I need you to come in today. We need to discuss some concerns that have been brought to our attention. What kind of concerns? It's better if we discuss this in person. Can you be here by 10? The meeting is in HR, which is never a good sign. Janet's there, along with Patricia from Human Resources and someone I don't recognize, a thin man in an expensive suit. Tom, this is Mr. Morrison from our legal department, Janet says. We've received some troubling reports about your behavior. What kind of reports? Patricia slides a folder across the table. Your wife contacted us yesterday. She's concerned about your mental state and your potential for violence. I open the folder. There are photos of me looking angry and disheveled, screenshots from the YouTube video of our street fight. There's also a written statement from Elise, claiming I've been increasingly unstable and threatening over the past few months. She also provided these text messages, Morrison says, showing me printouts of conversations I've never seen before. The messages are from my phone number, but I didn't send them. Threatening, vulgar texts to Elise about what I'm going to do to her and Brandon. Someone's been spoofing my number. I didn't send these, I say. Tom, We understand you're going through a difficult time, Janet says, but we have to take threats seriously, especially when they involve our employees' family members. I'm telling you, I didn't send those messages. Whether you did or not, we think it's best if you take some time off. Get the help you need. You're suspending me? We're placing you on administrative leave pending a psychological evaluation. I want to argue, to explain, to show them Natalie's folder and prove that I'm the victim here. But I can see it in their faces. They've already made up their minds. I'm the unstable husband who snapped and abandoned his family. Fine, I say, standing up. But when the truth comes out, and it will come out, I want an apology from all three of you. I'm walking to my car when my phone rings. It's a number I don't recognize. Tom Grady? Yes. This is Detective Lyle with the city police. We need to talk. About what? About the restraining order your wife filed against you this morning. The police station smells like disinfectant and despair. Detective Lyle is a heavy-set man with tired eyes, who looks like he's seen every kind of domestic dispute imaginable. Mr. Grady, your wife claims you've been stalking and threatening her. She's provided evidence of harassing text messages and erratic behavior. Those text messages are fake. Someone's spoofing my phone number. Can you prove that? I'm working on it. He slides a piece of paper across the desk. This is a temporary restraining order. You're to stay at least 500 feet away from your wife, your home, and your daughter. My daughter, who isn't actually my daughter? According to this birth certificate, she is. I look at the document. It's a copy of Zoe's birth certificate, with my name clearly listed as the father. Not the one I defaced. A clean copy. Detective, I have reason to believe that birth certificate is fraudulent. That's a civil matter, Mr. Grady. My job is to enforce this restraining order. Violate it, and you'll be arrested. So I can't see Zoe at all. Not until this gets sorted out in court. I leave the police station feeling like I'm trapped in someone else's nightmare. In the span of 48 hours, I've lost my job, my home, my daughter, and apparently my reputation. Elise and Brandon have played this perfectly. I look like the unhinged ex-husband, while they come across as the concerned victims. But they made one mistake. They underestimated how far I'm willing to go to get my life back. I meet Nate at a coffee shop across town. Somewhere I'm sure Elise won't accidentally run into us. They're good, he admits after I fill him in. Fake text messages, restraining order, getting you suspended from work. This isn't amateur hour. Brandon's ex-wife warned me he was smart. I should have listened. Well, now we know what we're dealing with. Time to escalate. What do you mean? Nate grins. Remember my friend at Morrison PR? Turns out Elise has been padding her expense reports, charging personal dinners with Brandon as business meetings, using the company credit card for hotel rooms, that kind of thing. That's embezzlement. Yep, and my friend is willing to document everything in exchange for a small favor. What kind of favor? The kind that involves exposing Brandon's little side business to his other clients. We spend the afternoon putting together what Nate calls the package, a comprehensive dossier of Brandon's affairs, Elise's embezzlement, and the evidence of paternity fraud. Everything documented, everything verifiable. Where do we start? I ask. With the people who matter most to them. Their reputations, their careers, their social standing. We're going to systematically destroy everything they care about. That sounds evil? Vindictive? Cruel? Nate shrugs. Sometimes the good guys have to play dirty to win. That night, I sit in my motel room, staring at the package we've assembled. Photos, financial records, text messages, witness statements. Everything I need to prove that I'm not the villain in this story. Tomorrow, the counterattack begins. The first shot across the bow comes at 9 a.m. sharp. I'm standing outside Morrison PR's office building, with a manila envelope and a plan. The purple-haired receptionist recognizes me immediately. Oh, Mr. Grady, Elise isn't in today. I'm not here for Elise. I need to speak with Miss Fenn about a financial irregularity. Miss Fenn is Morrison PR's managing partner, a sharp woman in her 50s who built the company from nothing. She agrees to see me, probably out of curiosity more than anything else. Mr. Grady, I understand you and your wife are having some personal difficulties. I hope you're not here to involve our company in your domestic issues. Actually, I'm here to help you recover about $15,000 in stolen funds. That gets her attention. I slide the envelope across her desk. Your employee, Elise Grady, has been using company credit cards for personal expenses. Hotel rooms, dinners, spa treatments, all charged as business meetings that never actually happened. Miss Fenn opens the envelope, her expression growing darker as she reviews the evidence. Credit card statements, fake meeting schedules, even photos of Elise and Brandon at restaurants that were supposedly client dinners. How did you obtain this information? Let's just say I have friends who pay attention. Mr. Grady, even if this is accurate, it doesn't excuse your recent behavior. The threats, the public confrontation, the threats were fake. Someone spoofed my phone number. I pull out my phone records. Check the timestamps. When those messages were supposedly sent, my phone was connected to cell towers across town. She studies the documents for several minutes, occasionally making notes. I'll need to investigate this internally, she finally says. Of course. But Miss Fenn, you might want to check her computer. I suspect you'll find evidence of other indiscretions. I leave Morrison PR and drive straight to Brandon's gym. It's an upscale place called Elite Fitness, all chrome and mirrors and motivational posters. Brandon's working with a client, some businessman trying to recapture his college physique. I wait until he's between sessions, then approach him near the free weights. Brandon, right? We met yesterday. He tenses up immediately. You're not supposed to be here, man. The restraining order. The restraining order says I can't go near Elise or my house. Doesn't say anything about public businesses. What do you want? I pull out my phone and show him one of Natalie's photos. Him with a different woman in a hotel room. I want to know how many of your clients you're fucking. His face goes red. You need to leave, now. Mrs. Patterson, right? I show him another photo. Married to the city councilman? I bet he'd love to see these pictures. You're insane. Maybe, but I'm also right. I pocket the phone. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell Elise to drop the restraining order and stop spreading lies about me, or these photos go public. You can't blackmail me. Watch me. I turn to leave, but Brandon grabs my arm. Big mistake. I've been taking martial arts classes for 3 years. Not because I'm tough, but because I'm not. When you're the IT guy, you learn to defend yourself. I twist out of his grip and use his momentum to send him stumbling backward into a rack of dumbbells. The crash echoes through the gym, and suddenly everyone's staring at us. Assault! Brandon shouts. Everyone saw it. He attacked me, but the security cameras tell a different story. Brandon grabbed me first. I was just defending myself. Actually, says a voice behind me, I saw the whole thing. This gentleman was just leaving when you grabbed him. I turn around. It's Big Mike, the gym manager, a former bouncer who's seen every kind of bullshit imaginable. That's not what happened, Brandon protests. That's exactly what happened, Mike says. And Brandon, we need to talk about those private training sessions you've been conducting off-site, the ones you're not reporting on your taxes. I leave them to sort it out and head to my next stop, my mother's house. Evelyn Grady lives in a tidy ranch home in the suburbs, the same house where I grew up. She's in her garden when I pull up, tending to her roses like nothing's changed. And Tommy, I was wondering when you'd come to your senses. Hi, Mom. We need to talk. Of course we do. You need to apologize to Elise and come home. This whole thing has gotten completely out of hand. I follow her into the house, noting the framed photos of Zoe on every surface. My not daughter, smiling and happy, unaware that the adults in her life are waging war. Mom, I know you helped Elise lie to me. She freezes, a coffee mug halfway to her lips. I don't know what you mean. The fertility clinic paperwork. Dave's stored sperm. You helped her forge the documents, didn't you? Tommy, you're being ridiculous. Stop lying to me. I slam my hand on the kitchen table, and she jumps. For once in your life, just tell me the truth. Her composure cracks. You want the truth? Fine. Yes, I knew from the beginning. Why? Because you needed a family. You were 39 years old, living alone, no prospects. Elise was the best thing that ever happened to you. And if she needed a little help to make it work, so what? A little help? Mom, she committed fraud. She gave you a daughter. She gave you a purpose. Do you think you would have found someone better on your own? The words hit like a physical blow. My own mother, telling me I'm such a loser that I should be grateful for a fraudulent marriage. So you decided what was best for me without asking? I decided to help my son be happy. By lying to me for over a year. By giving you the family you always wanted. She's crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. Tommy, please, just go home to them. Pretend you never found out. You can still have your family, based on lies. All families are based on lies. You think your father and I never kept secrets from each other? I stare at her, this woman who raised me, who I thought loved me unconditionally. But her love comes with conditions. I have to be the man she wants me to be, even if it means living a lie. I'm done, Mom. With Elise, with the lies, and with you. Tommy, don't say that. You chose her over me, your own son. I'll never forgive you for that. I walk out, leaving her sobbing in her kitchen surrounded by photos of a granddaughter who was never really hers either. My phone rings as I'm driving away. It's Nate. Dude, you need to see the news. Channel 7, right now. I pull over and stream the local news on my phone. There's a reporter standing outside Elite Fitness, talking about a prostitution ring disguised as personal training. The story has everything: photos, financial records, testimonials from former clients. Brandon's business is finished. But the best part comes at